Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Wednesday, September 29th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S., 4:30 p.m. in London. In Hamilton, it's 12:30, and in Mexico City, 10:30. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. We have some breaking news that just came in. This is actually sort of big news. Liberty Mutual Group said about 20 minutes ago that it has postponed a planned initial public offering of stock in Liberty Mutual Agency Corporation. Liberty said that the, quote, stalled economic recovery, unquote, volatile stock market, unquote, and undervalued property and casualty insurance stock prices created a, quote, unfavorable environment for receiving appropriate value for the business. Ed Kelly, the CEO of Liberty Mutual Group, said the delay will not impact our business or our day-to-day operations. While we still believe this transaction is a useful step in giving the group additional capital flexibility, we have more than adequate capital to conduct our business successfully. Well, take that, Bob Benmosh at AIG, as you contemplate your IPO for AIA. That's very interesting. Ed Kelly acting on behalf of the mutual owners of Liberty Mutual Group and pulling the IPO back and waiting for a better time. That's it must have been hard to resist what was going to be the biggest IPO of the year. So we'll watch that carefully, but right now it seems like a sound move. Well, now to our stories. Throughout Europe as we speak, protests everywhere. Greek doctors, Greek railway employees, Spanish transport workers, tens of thousands of demonstrators in Brussels, pictured here, all marching to protest austerity budgets that are being released this week by Western European nations. They're all going to be protesting and are protesting the tax hiking, budget slashing, pension cutting plans that the European governments are announcing as they try to control their debt. According to John Monks, General Secretary of the European Trade Union Confederation, a labor leader, it is a bizarre time for the European Commission to be proposing a regime of punishment. How is that going to make the situation better? It's going to make it a lot worse. Mr. Monks went on to say it's not right that people on low salaries have to pay to prop up the country. It should be the banks. Several governments already living dangerously with high debt were pushed to the brink of collapse and have been forced to impose punishing cuts in wages, pensions, and employment. The big one in danger here is Spain, which is already seeing a 20% unemployment rate. And when these austerity measures come through, it's going to make things much more difficult. Well, the European terror threat is still high. Security officials are saying that a terror plot to wage a Mumbai-style shooting spree in Britain, France, and Germany is still on. Authorities are monitoring sites in Pakistan where the threat originated. Intelligence agencies intercepted the threat 2 weeks ago that resulted in American military increases of drone missile attacks against al-Qaeda targets in Pakistan. A British government official said that the plot was considered to be in its early stage and that the terror threat levels had thus not been raised in the UK. Officials are giving no other details about the plot, but said that the intelligence reveals that the group has talked about shooting sprees beginning first in Britain and then in France and then in Germany. Well, there's a tropical storm forming off of southeast Florida. Take a look at this map. It's not that big a deal. It's really got about 40 or 50 mile-per-hour winds. It's not going to do too much wind damage. But look at that path. We're sitting here in New Jersey right now. There is heavy rain expected here tomorrow, into tomorrow night and into Friday, and there are already flood warning alerts out. If that storm comes up, we're going to see heavy flooding in North Carolina and in Virginia and in some of the North Mid-Atlantic states. It socked Cuba and Jamaica with 20 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. So that's an awful lot of rain. In the St. Lawrence River, just on the south side of the river, just across from Montreal, environmental officials and Suncor Energy are trying to assess the extent and danger of what firefighters are describing as a major spill of diesel fuel this morning into the St. Lawrence. The spill is being contained with booms. Suncor officials said that the leak at the former Petro-Canada refinery has in fact been stopped, but that the spilled material is a mix of diesel fuel and water. It was noted at about 10:30 last night. Suncor says we don't know how much leaked at this time. We're in the process of containing it. The source of the leak is still to be determined. The spill is reportedly extending about half a kilometer wide into the St. Lawrence. The U.S. stock market in New York is down about 28 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
Design for peace.
Alex Wright in the Royal Gazette in Bermuda is writing this morning that a new $1 billion fully collateralized catastrophe reinsurance fund has been set up in Bermuda. The Bermuda Monetary Authority revealed that CATCO Investment Management Limited was formed on August 25th. The other entity that was affiliated with it is called CATCO Re Limited, which was launched by CATCO Investment Management. CATCO Investment Management is expected to go live later this year. It's going to be run by former Oxygen broker Tony Belisle. Belisle is going to be joined by Graham Wood, also formerly of Oxygen, and Jason Bibb, who's the former Chief Operating Officer of Citigroup's Alternative Asset Division. The group has the back office support of an unnamed big institution, which is also acting as a seed investor, and the fund is going to be investing in traditional reinsurance contracts in property, aviation and marine, and energy classes of business. In Turkey, the Turkish reinsurer Milli Reinsurance has acquired a holding in Anadolu Insurance. They purchased the holding in Anadolu Insurance from the parent company that owns both of them. The private bank that is the owner of the both of them is İşbankası, ISBANKASI. The bank owned a 35.5% stake in Anadolu. Milli Re already provides about 25% of the reinsurance market capacity in Turkey at the moment. The Turkish non-life market is still relatively undeveloped, but it's attracted significant attention from foreign insurance groups lately. Many of the largest foreign groups are now registered or established in the market. Changes to the Turkish insurance law to approximate those of the EU are likely now to lead to a further consolidation, and it's expected that the number and nature of companies will also change over the next few years. So Milli Assurance is getting themselves positioned. In London, there's news. Former UK General Chief Executive Officer Tim Rolfe has joined Lloyd's insurer Canopius. He's going to be heading the UK retail agency. Ralph is going to report to Jim Giordano, who's the group's chief underwriting officer, and is going to be responsible for the insurer's expanding retail business. Ralph resigned as chief executive of UK General in January, citing family reasons. Prior to the resignation, he had spent 24 years at Aviva. Canopius underwrites about £200 million of UK retail business, represents about 30% of the group's total premiums. Here's some interesting news from Japan. It sort of caught me by surprise, but Japan's central bank has said that business confidence has improved, and this is the part that caught me by surprise, for the 6th straight quarter. I did not know that. Analysts, however, worry that a strong yen and economic problems in other countries, as well as the tensions with China, will lead to a decreased confidence in the future. The Nikkei rose over 0.5% today after the release of the better numbers. The Nikkei overall is up 8% for the year. The people who are analyzing the situation, one, for example, Howard Wielden with BGC Partners, said that he believes the confidence is unlikely to last. He said, we had a reasonable run of confidence over the past 6 months. That's translated to a small rise in output, but it's not going to last. The whole dispute between China and Japan is unwelcome business. And I think that overall the Japanese economy will begin to feel the pinch in 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 months. So a lot of naysayers. Most of the economic backwash is coming from experts, while the numbers definitely seem to be trending up. Well, to our final story, last night at about 5 minutes after 10, the New York Yankees, the baseball team, secured a spot in the playoffs. This is the 29th of September. If the World Series and the playoff games proceed to their full extent, the 7th game of the Baseball World Series in the United States will be being held on Thursday, November 4th. Thursday, November 4th is about 4.5 weeks from now. It's actually 4 weeks from tomorrow. By that time, the National Football League season will be halfway over. The U.S. congressional midterm elections will have occurred. The National Basketball Association will be on the verge of beginning. And baseball, a sport that began in mid-February at spring training camps, will officially be ending. I think the season is too long. The owners should think about cutting back. Meanwhile, in the National Football League, it's all but a certainty that the season is going to be extended from 16 games to 18 games because the owners are looking for more money. Soon we'll have all sports all the time. If I sound like your wife, I apologize, but sometimes it does seem to be getting to be too much. It's time for a good book and a warm fire and some classical music in the background. That's all the news we have for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. If not, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.